adult. You're the one mentoring,
Military, you got to deal with people that's not from your block.
mentoring and helping be leaders and helping shape these young men.
This country was made great by so many accomplishments.
All right, so today on Raw and Real Vet Talk with your boy PJ, I am honored and to welcome Aaron Williamson, Army vet, fitness trainer, actor, and much more. I feel like we have a lot to discuss with Aaron today. There is so much to his story when it comes to what Aaron, welcome to the show. You were Marine Corps?
Yeah, Marine Corps. Well, thanks for having me on, PJ. I appreciate it, brother.
Man, thanks for coming on, man. And honestly, from one vet to another, I really want to say, like, dude, I not only appreciate your service to this country, but it was an honor to serve with you. And man, I appreciate all the things that you did for this country. And man, I appreciate everything you're still doing, because like I said, we got a lot to get into with you and with what you're doing now in your civilian transition into this world, right?
Likewise to that. Thank you for what you did and what you're doing right now.
Man, I appreciate it. Appreciate it. So man, Aaron, so tell me, so on your website, it says that you enlisted in the Marine Corps right out of high school?
Yeah,
and it saved your life, huh?
Yeah, as many kids these days there's broken families, no direction, no one to really look up to give them some guidance on how to move their life forward, as an adult.
Yeah.
So for me, that was the case. And squandered opportunities left me in a position where, thinking to the one thing that I could possibly succeed in, I just felt the military would be an amazing thing. And in my mind, there were some Marine Corps recruiting posters that stood out to me that really made me want to go that route. It was all about the special ops type work for me, although it didn't go that route. But
so it's interesting you say that, Aaron, because man, your story, like when I was reading up on it, it reminded me so much of my journey. I joined straight out of high school, like maybe 6 months after. Came from, my parents started going through their divorce at my senior year. So I stopped playing all sports, no direction out there. And dude, I saw this badass video of special ops and them blowing up some stuff.
Yeah.
And the rappelling, and I was like, man, you know what? I want to go do that.
Yeah. And and there was a guy who I actually went to high school with who was a badass football player, just kind of a jock type. And I remember knowing he joined the Marine Corps. I was a grade below him. And when I saw him come back from Marine Corps boot camp, I was like, holy shit, who is this guy? He was completely different in a pretty amazing way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I mean, it was life-changing for me. And when I saw that about you, I was like, dude, this is like deja vu, because I went from playing, football, baseball, basketball, and I thought I was in shape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, I got humbled. Basic training. Yep. Basic training, man, physically, mentally, emotionally, like everything. Like, it challenged me in a way that I had never experienced, and it changed my life. I'm here today, I say because of me enlisting into the military and getting that discipline and that guidance. So kudos to you and your story, because like I said, it's a lot of us in that same boat.
Yeah, it goes back to the salvation piece. When you don't really have anything and you join something for a reason that you're not sure about, and you open yourself up to growth and responsibility, amazing things can happen. And it was literally, to this day, I'm still living by a lot of the things that I learned about myself in the Marine Corps.
Nice, man. That's what's up. And it's a true blessing. And then again, I call us the one percenters. You know what I mean? Like, there's not many people, that could do, what you've done, to put those boots on, just like you said, you have jocks and athletes who are these people who are, looked at as these people who are on this top level of in shape. And man, please, they couldn't survive a basic training.
Yeah. The mental aspect's pretty deep.
Yeah, it's so deep. So let me ask you. So you made a decision. So how many deployments have you had?
So this is where my Marine Corps career is a little different. So a lot of people think I did some combat deployments, and I did not. Most of my work in Iraq was literally as a contractor, and that's where a lot of the stuff that I went through really took place. But
Okay.
from when I was on the joint staff doing personal protection for General Pace is when I first started to travel over to Afghanistan and Iraq, and more on the security side, all classified stuff. So it was a little bit different than most of the military deployments that you would hear from veterans.
Nice. So let me ask you this. So contract wise, who'd you contract? Who were you contracting with?
So I was with so being a security guy, going over the opportunity to be a shooter, was something that I almost took because it was DynCorp, triple canopy, Blackwater.
Yeah.
But what I did was I shifted and actually went over in a different billet, so to speak. So I was more on the technology side, and it's a side of the war that you don't hear about. One, because of the classification, but two, it's not something that people can really wrap their head around in terms of what we did. But I was over there as part of the SecDef initiated biometrics program. So safeguarding the bases. And for the first 2 years, I was, covering all the DoD bases for the base access program. And then for the other 2 years I was over there, I got switched over and was working directly with the Iraqis as the liaison for the U.S. in terms of helping them stand up their own biometrics capabilities, similar to what we have here, the FBI and the DoD's ABIS and APHIS.
So were you at the embassy in Iraq?
Yeah, so I was back and forth between Victory Base and Green Zone.
So you know what's funny about this? Our paths probably crossed before. What years were you over there?
So I got over there in 2005 and was there until 2009.
Okay, so I was still military then, and I was BIOP at Iraq.
Yeah,
that was my last deployment. That's when I got injured. My tour to the Lions Den, when I used to work with the Iraqi National Guard and everything like that. But then when I got out, I get back over and I contracted, and I was with Triple Canopy and Armor Group.
Yep, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm sure we know so many of the same people.
Oh yeah, man. Small world, man. I'm telling you. So let me ask you. So with that, so finding out that that you contracted, what do you think are the biggest differences between that contract world and that military world? I mean, would you say that, because I know for me, like, I love what I did for my country in the military and everything like that. But if I had to go back and do it again, I'd go straight contracting.
Yeah. There's a real difference between, I think the bottom line is the amount of support you have as a contractor versus being active duty.
Yep.
So that's probably the biggest thing for me, was having less resources and less support, and having to be more, I guess, as the Marine Corps motto would have it, improvise, adapt, and overcome. I had to use that quite a bit over there on my own to figure out how to get through certain, situations. But you might get paid more, and you might have a little more luxury, if you want to call it, so to speak, if there's a thing over there. But at the end of the day, for me, it was difficult being a contractor, just because I still felt like I was a Marine, and I felt like I belonged with a unit somewhere, and that camaraderie wasn't really like I was used to it being. So there were some little nuances like that I had to really navigate around.
Man, that's something I 100% understand. And so with even saying that, so let me ask you then, so once you were home, I remember you mentioned that your life, it didn't go as planned. What was the plan that you had and had hoped for? And then can you tell us about your struggles with your mental health when you were leaving Iraq?
So towards the end, getting into 2008 and 2009, we were in the process of really making the transition over and handing everything back to the Iraqi people.
Yep.
And as a result in doing that, things were becoming much more dangerous. So even on the projects that I was working on, the security that I had before this transition took place started to really deteriorate.
Yeah.
And there were a lot more close calls. And, the fact that I'm still here talking to you, is a surreal thing, because
Yeah.
when you look back on some of the stuff that happened, you wonder how you made it back.
Yeah.
And so for me, just thinking about how twisted my mind was becoming, and the fact that that was becoming more of my normal over there. So when I was coming back to the States on R&R, I would be thinking about being back over there, and I couldn't quite fit in.
Yeah.
So I knew it was finally time for me to really disconnect myself from the work, come back and really be an adult for not only myself, but for my family, because I sacrificed a lot. And the plan was to transition back in a actually doing more contract work with the Marine Corps under Marine Forces North, which was based in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay.
So I took a leap of faith, jumped on this opportunity that really wasn't guaranteed, but it was highly likely that it would work out. And in doing so, I found out quickly that my transition was about to, take the wrong turn. So
Okay.
when the plan to move into this position, to consistently have income, to have a transition where I could really start to unwind and decompress and relax from being in that environment for so long, the opposite happened, and that job really didn't turn out the way it was supposed to. The funding was cut. All of a sudden now I'm in a place where I'm burning through all the money I had saved. I went through a bad divorce. So there were a lot of things that were really taking a heavy toll on me. And without being able to find work over the next several months, I ended up essentially losing everything I had.
Yeah.
And forced me to file for bankruptcy. I was living out of my car. And that was kind of the desperate moment where it was like, all right, well, how am I going to get out of this?
Yeah.
It was a surreal experience to go from such a successful Marine Corps career and to do some amazing things as a contractor, and at such a young age,
Yeah.
to all of a sudden now here I am in my car by myself trying to figure out where my life is going.
So Aaron, let me ask you this. So with what you just said there, like, you came back and you served this country, you had a successful career, you Department of State, you did all these things, and then now you're a civilian, and you have all these benefits and stuff, right? So were you going to VA? Were you seeking like all these so-called things, the things, the veteran, the help that they say they have for veterans when you come back?
Yeah. So I reached out to the VA, and for about a year and a half, I tried to really get help. And
Yeah.
it was at a point where I finally just said, you know what, I'm fucking done trying this. I don't want anything to do with the VA. I'll figure this out on my own.
Yeah.
Because at that time, obviously the VA has gotten much better. There's always going to be work to do in the VA, but
Yeah.
back then I felt like me trying to get help was just nothing but, getting kicked away. Like no one had time for me. I was just a number. Like there was no personal care. No one. I didn't feel like I was ever going to get anywhere by doing what I was doing. So I gave up and dealt with it on my own. And that's when I kind of turned to the one thing that really was the anchor of my whole life. And that's been fitness.
Man, and Aaron, with that, like, dude, first chill bumps, because man, there's so many veterans that this story, it is like we have all walked in the same boots, and people don't understand this, you know what I mean? And coming back into the civilian world and feeling like you're an alien and you're not even of this country, it's bothersome. But just like you, same thing with me, there was one thing that saved my life, and that was fitness, health and fitness.
Yeah.
And that's what I use to, I mean, even with myself, I got injured, so I went through two years of surgeries, you know what I mean, when I came back, and it was fitness. They told me, you're not going to be able to run, you're not going to be able to do this, we can't go back to your infantry job, blah, blah. Man, fitness is a medicine. It doesn't take a pill, okay? It just takes the discipline and that hard work and getting in there and doing it, and so, yeah.
And it transcends everything. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what your race is, what your gender is, what
It
your
doesn't
employment
matter.
is, nothing.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Yeah. And it's what's always like, even with the brotherhood, I think like back in the military days, dude, it didn't care who you are, what color you are, the sex you are. 5:30, you getting your ass up and you're gonna be in PT. I don't
Yep.
care if you're hung the fuck over.
Yeah.
You gonna be in there, and if it's a damn battalion run, you're gonna run, but you better not fall out that damn run.
Yep.
Okay, it taught that discipline, it taught that work ethic, and then coming to civilian world, man, that's what I used to change my life, but then I wanted to help change other people's lives. You know what I mean? And so, like with that, can you tell us about like how your journey and how you've used your fitness to turn your life around, and what you have going on in your fitness industry right now?
Yeah, this is where I call the destiny piece of my life, because I ended up in New Orleans, Louisiana for a reason. And I say that's my destiny because I didn't know anyone there. I had never been there in my life.
Yeah.
And out of desperation, I just turned to the one thing that I knew I could do something with, and that was fitness. And within a few months, here I am now, falling right in the middle of the film industry, training some of the biggest names in Hollywood.
Nice.
And it allowed me to really put a lot of things into perspective. Right. So I made it back to the States. I went through all the things I went through. I lost friends who were very close and important to me. And no matter what the darkest times of my life were, when I wanted to give up, I felt like there was this deep sense of responsibility that I had to do something with my life, because I was fortunate enough to make it back here. And so I just started to embark on this journey that was being created out of thin air. And it just led me into a place where I was able to build a platform, get some notoriety, and really start to get my life back on track so that I could take my love of fitness and really help other people, because at the end of it all, purpose means so much.
Yeah, man, that is amazing, and I'm happy to hear and happy to see that you have used that avenue as something that's turned not just your life around, but taking it and you're still changing lives. You know what I mean, and saving lives, because that's what we did when we served this country. We rose our hand to save lives. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So we're still here continuing that mission. And man, I want to give kudos and thanks to you for doing that and seeing that.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yep. And so let me ask you, so even with that then, okay, so what do you think, as a vet, what do you think needs to change from our government when it comes to vets that are coming home and adjusting to civilian life, especially those of us who struggle with mental health issues?
You know what? I don't even really know exactly how to answer that, because it's so complicated and deep rooted. When I feel like when you join the military, uh, you're ultimately, at the end of the day, no matter what happens to you over there, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent,
Yeah.
you're sacrificing your health, your mind, your body,
Yeah.
you're literally giving the government ownership of who you are. And when you come back, you would expect that there should be some type of support consistently without having to jump through so many hoops.
Yeah.
And if there was a way to get things streamlined where veterans were just organically taken care of when they got back without having to fight for every single thing that they need, it would make our veterans who are coming back much more successful in life. And unfortunately, I don't understand what's so hard about being able to put something like that in place. Granted, I don't know exactly what it looks like,
Yeah.
but if there was a streamlined process of getting out of the service as a veteran and just having this automatic, program, so to speak, that you would go through, that sets you up financially, that sets you up successfully for employment. And again, I got out of the military quite a few years ago. From what I hear, nothing like the VA has gotten a little bit better in terms of taking care of us, but it's still nowhere near where it needs to be.
No, gosh, no. I mean, for me, I feel like it's kind of, you look at it like what a basketball player or any type of sports player, type of care they get, right?
Yeah.
Compared to like what a veteran who, hey, the reason you're playing ball right now is because of people like me. You know what I mean? Like, but they get that top-notch care. And like you said, the veterans, like we're sitting here dealing with some doctors that are coming doing internships and different things of that
Yeah.
nature. So
Yeah, it's real. The the mind game of the whole thing is very hard to put into words, because here you are, veterans, military, when you think about law enforcement, first responders, all these different areas of work where people literally will sacrifice their lives for others.
Yeah.
But yet you get paid little to nothing. And the support that you have is, you have to literally fight tooth and nail for every single thing that you would think would be automatically granted to you without having to fight for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a tough thing that we deal with, and society is just really weird because the celebrity piece of it. And I've been learning this being in Hollywood. It's like when my name is at the top of whatever headline for the week, it's like everyone wants a piece of you. Everyone wants to give you free stuff, and everyone wants to do this, that, and the other. But as soon as you kind of fade back into the norm a little bit,
yeah,
no one cares anything about you.
Yeah, you're back to a nobody. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Man. So with that, let me ask you then, Aaron. So from all the incredible things you've done as a veteran, and even with your fitness achievements right now, what and your acting career, what would you say people might mishav or still do misunderstand about you most?
I'm a very misunderstood person for sure, and I think it's because I'm a very introverted guy.
Okay.
I love peace. I love peace and quiet. I love. I have no desire to seek celebrity status. Me being in industry was, like I say, a destiny piece. It happened organically for me. But people think I'm arrogant. People think that I'm this meat-headed guy, juiced up on steroids, and like all the stuff is crazy what people concoct in their minds. And unfortunately, it's not anywhere near who I am, because I grew up a very poor kid, didn't have much of anything, joined the military, self-made, everything I have. And I understand the importance of family and time and the simple things in life. Simplicity is so life-changing when you can embrace simplicity, but everyone is very stuck up in the technology and the comforts of life and wanting to have the best of the best. And it's never been me. So when it came to everything I was doing in the higher echelons of the industry in entertainment, I didn't fit in. Mm-hmm. And because I didn't fit in, I got even more, bad vibes from people because, oh, he's too good. And it's like, how am I too good? I'm a simple dude who, on Friday night, I want to lay in and watch a movie and relax, or, I want to get up at 5 a.m. and train. I'm a different breed, but I think it goes back to us guys in the military. When you go through what we go through, you just appreciate things in a different way than normal people do.
Yeah. And man, I could not agree with you more. Could not agree with you more, and 100% understand what you're saying. And it's crazy to me to hear you even say, like, hey, you're an introvert, right? Like, dude, I was just talking to a friend today, telling him about, like, man, how I love, like, my personal time is very valuable to me. You know what I mean? Like, people think, even when I'm in the gym, like, dude, my anxiety is high. I'm always 360, always watching. I hate big crowds. You know what I mean? Like, I like my me time. And it's nothing against, arrogance or being nasty or anything else. It's just like, man, for guys like us and what we've been through, like the simple thing of being able to lay in a bed or on the couch and watch a movie, you know what I mean, with a beer and some damn popcorn. And it's
the simplicity in life, man.
Like, dude, I'm golden, you know what I mean? And I'm 100% with you, and it's crazy because in this fitness industry, marketing is everything, right? A lot of your work can speak for itself, and you get clientele. But in today's world, like, you got to do some marketing. And there's one thing that I can't stand. I hate social media. I hate it with a passion.
Same.
I still have to go into my droughts. Like, I finally got someone to where I can hire, and I'm giving them stuff to handle like my posts and stuff. Because I used to have to go through droughts. I'd post for like maybe a month, and then I'm gone for 3 months. Because, man, it's consuming, it's negative, it's toxic, it's like I call it. I think it's a war. I think it's a weapon that's being used to dumb down our damn society, our children, and everything else, because nothing goes on there that's meaningful most of the time.
Yeah, And you end up going down the rabbit hole because I
Yeah.
mean I've I've fallen into the trap before where it's like you go to look at something, next thing you know 30 minutes are gone by and you're like 17 posts into someone else's thing, you don't even know who
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
I mean it's such a time suck, you know. It's the
It
wildest
is.
thing.
It is, man. And it's crazy because even nowadays, how many kids do you have?
I've got two daughters.
So I have two. I have a daughter and a son. Okay, 16 and 14. And like, man, like this generation, I tell my kids, I'm like, listen, when I was your age, I had a pager. Okay. It wasn't me sitting here scrolling the internet. Like, I don't even know like pager. What is that? I'm like a beeper. I had to go to the payphone. Like, payphone, what is that? I had a quarter. Quarters. Y'all use those?
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's so funny when you put some perspective into the way we grew up versus now.
Yeah.
These kids are just being inundated by all these irrelevant materialistic things that have zero impact on their life, but they're comparing their current life to these things, and what they don't understand being younger is that's not real.
Nope.
Like I think we all know social media is a facade of what our real lives are really like.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because it's affecting our kids' mental health. And I've, seen that through my daughters and through friends of mine's kids growing up. And it's just it's so unfortunate. Social media is such a great thing.
Yeah.
Technology is such a great thing, but at the same time, it can be so bad
Yep.
in terms of mental health, especially.
That's facts, man. Aaron, with that, man, let's get raw and real, right? So from vet to vet, all right. I want to know your honest opinion of the state of our government right now. For instance, right now we have President Biden, who is our president, and all the laws, and like even this week, they had President's Week, and I don't know if you saw, like, he was over there visiting in Ukraine, and we have a lot of things going on here in our country that aren't getting taken care of. From another vet's point of view, like, what is your thought of the state of what's going on with our government right now?
I really despise politics in a way that I can't even put into words. I got exposed to it in a completely different light while I was in the Marine Corps with General Pace, but I'm pretty disgusted by what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Where this country was made great by so many accomplishments and certain I guess certain morals and principles, so to speak. And as every single country out there, we have room for improvement. We're not perfect by any means.
Yeah.
But I feel like what's happening right now to our country is bringing us into such a weak place.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned that we could potentially look like Ukraine soon if we don't like really get our heads out of our ass and start focusing on the real things, because whatever you want to identify as it, in terms of, it's your life, do what you want.
Yeah.
But we need to focus on the real things that are going to keep this country free. There are a lot of people in various countries out there that want to see us on the bottom and are willing to do anything and everything it takes. And while we're focusing on all these non-critical issues, these other countries are over there training in a way that they're ready to come after us as soon as they find the right moment of weakness. And right now I feel like we're the weakest we've ever been as a nation.
Man, I'm with you on that, and it is scary, man. I mean, it really gives me goosebumps thinking, how we look right now as a country, how our military, compared to where we were, compared to what other countries are doing.
You've traveled the world, right? And I think this is the beauty of being a veteran and having served, is you've been able to travel the world and you've been exposed to so many different cultures, and you understand things in a way that people here in America don't quite understand because they haven't been exposed to it in the way we have. And no matter what, when, wherever I've been in the country, I've always been so happy to come home. And it's unfortunate right now to see even the military is being weakened in a way that I could have never imagined seeing in my entire life.
Ever.
I mean,
Ever.
because I feel like there's a critical point that there's been a lot of focus lost on is when this whole war started overseas, in Afghanistan, this global war on terror.
Yeah.
That hasn't stopped. You don't hear anything about it right now, but I guarantee you there's a lot happening out there that's being planned against our country that no one's paying any attention to whatsoever. And I'm very concerned in that aspect too, that it's going to come and hit us so hard when we least expect it.
Yep. And that's what's scary too. I mean, you look at even right now, like how the borders, the number of people that are just pouring into our country. Could you imagine us going into the Middle East and just walking into someone else's country right now? There's no way.
It makes no sense. The border thing is really the most mind-boggling thing that I can't put into words either. You have people who are legitimately, coming here doing the right things the right way, who sometimes unfortunately don't meet whatever guidelines they're supposed to meet, and they're deported. They might have businesses here, they might have families here, and their whole lives are uprooted because they didn't get approved to stay. And all of a sudden you have just hundreds of thousands and millions of people just openly coming across our border like it's nothing. I don't understand it in any way. And not only that, but now you have it coming into the waterways, you have it coming in through the north. It's like, it's
I'm telling you, it's wild. And it goes back to what you just said a little bit ago, man. I agree with you and really think that part has to do with there's something big that's coming, and it's going to hit us so hard that we're not going to, there's nothing we can do, like and it's sad, but I just really hope, that a lot of people get their head out of their ass and we can get ahead of this thing before it comes, because, man, whether people realize it or not, it's coming.
I wish we could kind of parse some of the knowledge and the experiences that we had in our careers into a way that we could relate that to the public and have them understand really how great the country is. And we don't need to redefine the country. We just need to come together as a whole and not be so politically divided, because, there was a point in time when I remember it didn't matter if you were a Democrat or Republican, you could have your own views and be fine. And unfortunately now everything is based on politics, no matter if it's sports, entertainment, like whatever it is, everything is defined by politics now. And it's very unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate when all it should be is like, man, hey, it's called communication. Like, you can agree to disagree, but let's communicate. Let's just talk. Let's get off social media, stop tweeting and texting, and, man, sit down and have a real conversation with people. It'll change lives, man. And, that's the one of my big things, we're stronger together. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, very stronger together, man. Aaron, it's been awesome talking to you, brother. It's been awesome having you on the show, man. I would love to have you on again. I got we're dropping here next month, March 23rd, but I have something in the works for later of having a veteran rounds table that I'll put you on that list on. But, man, us getting all together, and, man, let's put our heads together and see what we can do to bring this awareness to the civilian world. And, man, because I love this country. I serve this country just like you have, and I don't want to see this country fall. And, I want to see us at a high point, but again, it's going to take us being stronger together to do it, bro.
Yeah. You said it, man. Stronger together is everything.
There it is, man.
Yeah.
Hey, brother, thank you so much. It's a pleasure having your time. Pleasure you coming on the show, and, man, blessings to you and all the things you have going on in your life, brother.
Likewise to you. God bless you, brother. And thank you for having me on. It's been great. It's been great getting to know you better. And I'd love to know more about what you've done over there too. So I look forward to the next conversation.
Man, same. I'm looking forward to it, man. And, man, if people want to get in contact or follow what you have going on, how can they follow up with you?
My website is AaronWilliamson.net. And then I'm on social media. I'm I don't like it either, but I'm on it because I kind of have to be. But
Exactly. I feel you.
yeah, I enjoy communicating, but I'm mostly active on Instagram, but you can find me on all the platforms. Instagram is Aaron V. Williamson.
All right, there we go. Man, y'all follow my fellow vet, my brother, and y'all look forward to our next episode. Can't wait for it. Man, you have a blessed day and a great weekend, man.
Rah.
Hoorah.